And
Everyone, we're back for another episode of The Witch's Brew, episode 2. And tonight we're going to discuss a whole bunch of stuff, the trending topics of the past week. But first, let's introduce ourselves. My name is Shina. You can find me on Twitter at ShyMW. So that's at Shy, Shai, M as in Mary, W. And Ashley?
hi guys, it's Ashley, Geeks and Cleats on Twitter, and we have a short panel today. Mildred may join us, but for now it's just me and Shina.
All right, so we're going to start with Peyton Manning's HGH controversy. So for those of you that may not know, it came out last night that Peyton Manning may have been on the stuff or the juice or steroids, for those of you that don't know. And from what we know, it has been delivered to his house in his wife's name. So he, of course, has denied all the claims, but hasn't really denied whether or not the actual steroids have been delivered to his house. So, Ashley, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, first off, I always think it's funny how the athletes always put things in their address. In any capacity, at least A-Rod was smart enough to put in his homeboy's name and address. Peyton Manning put it in his wife's name, had to go to his address right after he had neck surgery, which was like the #1 sports news in the country. So you have a high-profile surgery, and you don't try to be a little bit more not so obvious with the fact that you're getting supplements sent to you. And notice how he never denied that he had the supplements sent to him. He just said that they were his wife. So Peyton really threw his wife under the bus and has her as his own trap queen. I think that's the funniest thing ever.
Yeah, I just tweeted that out earlier too.
Yeah.
My thing is, what I don't understand is athletes, you guys have to be way smarter. You cannot have stuff sent to your house and think that no one is going to leak this, or it's going to be your little secret or whatever. Like, you either have to have a stash house where you stuff being sent to someone else's house, or not. Like, because it doesn't matter even if it's coming in someone's name. If something is going to your house and something as high profile as steroids, and you are old and people already started to doubt your skills because of your age, that was just a rookie mistake. And honestly, oh, hey, Mildred, she's here. So we'll wait for her computer to get set up. Or not.
No, just said hi, bye.
Right, she'll be back.
Yes.
But yeah, that was his fault. So honestly, like, I'm not surprised. I don't feel bad for him. That was a rookie mistake. Whether or not I think he's taking steroids, I don't know. My points in fantasy this season has sucked because of him. So he brought me absolutely no points. So yeah, I don't know if he has been taking steroids. They sucked.
He took the wrong kind of steroids. Hi, Mildred.
Hi, guys.
Mildred, why don't you introduce yourself? Mildred? Okay, maybe she's frozen. She'll be back. All right, guys.
I have to give up on Mildred.
Wi-Fi
issues.
issues. All right, so going on to the next topic.
Hi, I'm Mildred. You can find me.
Go ahead, Mildred.
Our stream sucks. Google, get this together.
Okay, so she'll be back. All right, so next topic we're going to go into is going to be the Panthers losing to the Falcons. So, Ashley, I'll let you lead that conversation.
Yeah, well, the Panthers...
Are you back?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
At last, we can hear you.
Finally, I'm sorry, guys. I've been having bad Wi-Fi lately.
Sorry, guys, watching this. We're all here, and...
Mildred, introduce yourself. Okay.
I think we have to tell Mildred to cut it.
Yes, you might have to give up on this one. All right, let's move on to the Panthers losing to the Falcons.
Okay, so Panthers and the Falcons. I think the Panthers showed up on the field wearing the same pajamas as me because they were asleep on the Falcons, who were just the consummate player haters of the year. That kind of sucks. I wanted the Panthers to go undefeated, so it just shows you how hard it is to have anything not broken.
Yeah, I mean, the Panthers are kind of that sleeper team that people forget. have decent players, and I think because they haven't done anything really significant in the past couple of years to make them memorable. So, but I mean, this season Cam Newton came out the gate. I mean, they beat my beloved Giants, so I'm a little still sad, disgruntled Giants fan over here. But I mean, to come this far and lose to the Falcons, that has got to hurt. But I think they'll be fine. They still made the playoffs. They're good. So.
Yeah, the Panthers don't have anything to worry about. But it would have been nice for Cam Newton, especially, to have undefeated on his record. I mean, whenever he gets up for the NFL Hall of Fame, he's going to be one of those people who they hold every little slight against him. So if he had something, as definitive as an undefeated season, that would just bode really well for him. But he's a young guy. He's the new face of the NFL. He has a long, long career ahead of him. So it's not make or break.
Absolutely. I mean, he's, the NFL's darling, so I think he'll be fine.
Superman face.
Yeah. He will be, they are going to come after him when it comes down to whether or not it's time for him to go into the Hall of Fame, and they're going to scrutinize every little move that he made. But, I mean, he'll be cool. He's done a lot to prove himself, especially when people thought, he didn't need to be. So we'll see. Anything else?
Well, I disagree with all your points. What happened?
No, you said I thought you said you disagree with all my points.
No, I said I disagree with all your points. I don't think there's anything for Cam to worry about. And we already know how black quarterbacks, every little slight against them comes back to haunt them. So that would be interesting.
Yeah. So we're moving pretty quickly today. We're going to move on to NBA Christmas versus NFL Thanksgiving. Are these games even relevant anymore? I
have a rant.
did not watch any NBA games this season on Christmas. I mean, this year on Christmas. The Knicks weren't playing, so personally I didn't care. When it comes down to the NBA, I like to watch all the games, but I don't make it must-see TV this early in the season. And, I mean, I just feel like they haven't been as hype as they used to be. So what are your thoughts, Ashley?
Just to touch on what you had said, the games are not as good as what they used to be. I'm a Lakers fan, so some of my greatest memories on Christmas were those early Cavs versus Lakers games with LeBron. I think LeBron at his peak in some ways. LeBron at his peak going against Kobe, and often those times the Lakers were underdogs. So I think LeBron pre-reign against the Lakers was just really some good games. And back then there was also more parity. The Eastern Conference didn't have as many under the rug teams as they do now. So I think the parity was an issue, and also just the Lakers. When the Lakers aren't good, the whole league as a whole suffers. So I think it's a gone era for now.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. Number one, the Eastern Conference sucks. And anyone can try to argue that point with me, but there's really nothing to argue. I mean, when you come down to teams that are even comparable to anyone in the Western Conference, or at least the elite teams in the Western Conference, is really the Cavs. And I can't think of anyone else. Sorry.
The Bulls are pretty decent.
Yeah, the Bulls to me come and go.
They have an okay record.
Yeah, they are. It depends on, what day it is, who's healthy, who, gets injured, what Derrick Rose had for breakfast. They are so touch and go, and they could have a really, really good run for about a couple of games, and then after that, it's quiet. So, yeah, I don't really like to throw the Bulls into this conversation because they haven't been as consistent as we need them to be. So, honestly, to me right now, the NBA comes down to the Western Conference and Riley Curry, pretty much.
Riley Curry.
So, yeah, that's pretty much about it. I mean, Mildred, what are your thoughts on it?
Mildred, can you hear? I think Mildred's one and done like Kentucky. I think the first time we heard her was all we're gonna get. So Sorry, Mildred's like Kenny's ghost from South Park. She just lingers.
Exactly. We're gonna keep her photo there for a little bit though.
We're just gonna keep her rocking. But what's the next topic? Should we move from sports into entertainment now?
Yeah, let's go into the entertainment side. So we're gonna talk about this Rihanna album release.
Oh goodness.
So this morning you had a guy by the name of Glass John who wrote one of Rihanna's songs on her upcoming album that has yet to be released. As Rihanna fans may know, she was supposed to release the R8 or the Rate album, I think like last year, and the album never got released. She had been teasing fans for the longest, and now she's teasing fans again with this new anti stuff. So before she has this deal with Samsung, she's been putting out teaser videos, and the album has just not been released. It was supposed to be released in September, and we, or all of her fans, are still waiting. So you had Glass John go on a rant this morning. He mentioned that the whole reason that her album isn't out is because of Travis Scott putting it in her ear that her album is just not up to par, and the fact that Jay-Z and Roc Nation take Travis Scott's word to heart. So I don't know. She's on this Frank Ocean vibe right now, and I really don't get it.
No. I think that's insulting.
Well, the thing is, there's rumors that her album isn't even done. And she is selling tickets to a world tour for an album that's she hasn't even released yet.
But that's my whole point about Rihanna. Rihanna drops an album every other day, it feels like. And that's a sign of someone who's just not she's not creative at all, and she's not talented. She's just someone who needs her songs written. She needs the beat behind her, and she needs lyrics in front of her, and she talks most of those lyrics to a beat, so it mimics singing. She's an entertainer at heart, so she's not in the studio crafting any masterpieces. So she just manufactures things like the equivalent of a fast food chain. She's just awful in that regard. So to compare her to someone like Frank Ocean, who is a creator, who genuinely needs time to create art, is just insulting. Rihanna's thing is held up because she was probably getting high on Jamaica somewhere or doing whatever the fuck she does. We know she was in the studio taking time, so whatever the release is probably something dumb on her behalf, not anything artistically. So I think the fans should come to expect Rihanna to just be a free spirit. She's very disrespectful to our fans. She'll clap back at her fans. She'll smoke weed in concerts. She'll show up late. She's kind of like trashy to her fans, so I don't see why anyone's emotionally invested. But that's my rant.
I kind of have to disagree with some of your points. I do agree that her albums are nowhere close to, in terms of the music creativity as a Frank Ocean album, but I do think that she takes her fans to heart. She is one of the only artists that makes herself available and accessible to her fans. So you'll see all the time that fans will message her on Twitter and she will direct message them back. She follows them. So she really does communicate with her fans, and if you are a true fan of hers, she does, treat you well.
I've seen Rihanna in the hood before. I know Rihanna's good like that, but I think that's just more Rihanna's personality more than her going out her way for her fans. She's just someone who doesn't really need all the celebrity shit. She just wants to stay a normal chick. That's probably her being humble, but I don't think that's her necessarily being a great, a person who's great to her fans. Because I see her go at fans all the time. One girl, remember that girl who showed up wearing that onesie that looked like a bat cape?
Yeah.
That was a fan, someone who made a outfit to look like Rihanna, albeit she looked like an idiot, but she was still Rihanna's biggest fan. Rihanna clapped back at her to the point that the girl was roasted so bad that they had to delete Rihanna's Instagram for being a cyberbully. So Rihanna does stuff like that all the time.
She does. I think with this, it's just funny, though, because she has been talking about this album for the longest and just doing all these promos for it. And for her to still not even have a release date, it's just hilarious to me. But other people have been also commenting on the fact that it's coming from Roc Nation, and Roc Nation kind of being the new bad boy, where it's like albums don't really get released and people
Ah,
marketed, and they go into this black hole of artistry. So I don't know.
I think Black Rob works at like the local supermarket. That's great.
Black Rob, he lost
I
it.
said this. I said anyone who works with Diddy either ends up like working at Walmart, dead, or in prison. There's no
Listen,
middle.
I believe in the Illuminati. This guy, Glass John, is going to disappear in a couple of days. He released too much info, and yeah, something's definitely going to happen.
You know the guy who had like cracked Biggie's murder like just died mysteriously.
It's the Illuminati again.
It's that straight out of Compton.
Yeah. Mildred.
Hear me?
Yeah.
It was a rare guest appearance.
I know. I'm having a lot of technical difficulties. Please bear with me. I'm sorry, guys.
When you don't pay the cable bill.
I know. That's what happens, right? Unfortunately, I pay it and I still get bad service. Well, yeah, just to chime in, I hear you guys talking about Rihanna and the Illuminati. The Illuminati is real, and they are gonna get rid of people who are saying too much. And Rihanna, I'm not a big follower of hers, but she does put out a lot of music. I hear her all the time, and I don't know why people are making it a big deal that she didn't drop the album yet. I mean, I guess it's been 4 months.
Yeah.
So I guess that would be a big deal. I don't know exactly what is the complaint though. What is it again? That they compared to Frank Ocean, and she's not as talented as he is, and
basically, like Frank Ocean has said that he was supposed to put out an album since July or June, and that album still hasn't come. So people are kind of comparing her in that sense. But this guy who was a writer on Rihanna's album was just like fed up and decided today that he was going to go on this Twitter rant, and we love Twitter rants here in our little circle.
Oh. Yeah, they always come in handy. I've read what he wrote about her, and I guess some people just have that time where they crack. it's all it is. I mean, but seriously, I agree with Ashley. I don't think Rihanna was that talented to begin with. So if she doesn't feel comfortable with something that other people wrote, or maybe what is it? She doesn't feel comfortable dropping it because somebody else wrote it, or people know that somebody else wrote it.
They're saying that Travis Scott is in her ear saying that the album isn't good enough, so that's the reason why. And
Right.
then there's also rumors that the album isn't even done yet. So
It might not be done. That's true.
Yeah, I don't think it's done.
she's been working on it. I mean,
because she drops so many albums, and there's so many songs of hers, but
yeah, that's why I'm like, for the Rihanna schedule, this is really late. She drops albums like every 3 weeks, so
yeah, that would be the problem because she's always on top of it.
yeah. All right, well, we're gonna move on to our geek trend of the week, and this is Mildred's specialty, so she came right in time.
Mildred lead the way.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about the Game of Thrones situation that happened last week. Apparently, it looks like the creators and the writers and producers are going to take it a little bit easy.
Yeah,
scenes this season, on the upcoming season, because they have heard your complaints. And, so Mildred, you want to lead that conversation?
yes, sure. Hopefully, I won't get cut off again. So I think this comes after that website. I forgot what it was called. I think it was Marie Sue that said they won't.
No, the name.
What?
Yeah, it's called the Mary Sue.
They weren't. Yeah, they said they won't cover Game of Thrones anymore. Am I cutting off again?
No, you sound fine.
Okay. They said they weren't covering Game of Thrones anymore because of I guess the last straw was Sansa Stark being raped on her wedding night, which is referred to a black wedding now. And people are still kind of sensitive to it. After that, it was a whole thing all over the internet regarding Sansa Stark's rape, which comes in 5 years too late because it has rape from the beginning, like literally from the first episode. So why do people have a problem with it now? And I think it's not that so much as relevant to the story, but I think they like to keep the authenticity of the show in the medieval times, and this happens a lot through war. Like it's real. Because there are a whole bunch of kingdoms always at war, very, very political and very violent. So this is gonna happen. Not
All right, Ashley, take over.
Okay. So just to chime in on what Mildred was saying, in order. Sorry, I hear Mildred talking. Mildred, do you mind
that
dropping?
happened, but it's reality. It's something that really happened.
All right, go ahead, Ashley.
Okay, so just to chime in on what the discussion was about, about rape in George R. R. Martin's story. In order to stay true to the themes in the episode and that time period, you have to show rape because that's what happened. It's historically accurate, even in this mythical world. And the thing about the Mary Sue that kind of gets me mad is they'll attack mythical feminist issues instead of addressing real life issues that do affect women. Like, they won't say anything about how women are treated in the Middle East, but they'll look at something like Game of Thrones and then spend all their time and energy talking about a simulated rape scene. So I think you kind of have to pick and choose your battles and not get worried about what's shown on a mythical television show about a whole other world, an alternate reality, which takes which borrows influences from real life medieval era. So I think it's a stupid argument. You have to keep things historically accurate, and yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And as the every once in a while Game of Thrones fans, that was the first question I had. Was I just remember the first rape that I saw was on the first episode. Mm-hmm. So with Khaleesi and Drago. So I don't understand why now, as we're going into season 6, it was such a big deal when everyone knows, if you watch any shows, any movies, when that talks about the medieval times, there's always strong rape scenes there. It always has to do with the rape culture that was just, prisoners of war. Every single time someone won a war, they took the women, they raped them. So this, to me, is just staying accurate to the books, staying accurate to the times, which Game of Thrones is known for. Game of Thrones is known for being very accurate for that time period, as well as like the costumes, the scenery, the speech, everything. So yeah, I don't get it. I definitely hope that this doesn't mean that the season is going to be watered down, because that would definitely suck.
Well, I mean, in terms of staying accurate to the book, the show actually did not stay accurate to the book, because in the book it wasn't Sansa. It was now the girl who was playing the part of Arya. But the show established why they changed the character. So okay, they can do a character swap. But what happened in the books was the girl who was posing as Sansa, not only did she get raped, but the dogs raped her. She was tortured. She was starved. Pretty much everything that happened to Reek. And by the way, speaking of Reek, what happened to Reek in Game of Thrones was 10 times worse than what happened to Sansa. So why don't feminists get mad about a man getting his dick chopped off?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that a little bit worse? And then, like, splayed out on a cross? We don't think about that, but, a girl who's having sex on her wedding night. Like, okay, she's having sex on her wedding night. That's what the scene was. I know it wasn't the ideal, perfect situation, but that's what happened in Westeros. You had arranged marriages. Not everybody lucked up and had, like, the man of their dreams. But, that's kind of Sansa waking up from her princess reality.
Right.
And realizing her mother had to do it. Her mother had to have sex with Ned the first day she met him. But no one's going to call Ned Stark a rapist.
No, we all love Ned Stark.
So I think we all need to read the books if we're going to be so mad. At least do all the research.
Right. Well, we had a tweet come in from Josh Damage, and he said that the senseless rapes and pointless murders do take away from the story sometimes. So do you guys have any comments towards that tweet?
Can you repeat that? My stream lagged.
It says, the senseless rapes and pointless murders do take away from the story sometimes. So do we have any comments towards that?
The only senseless I can think of only a few instances of like sex, the element of sex being too much. My main complaint would be with anything with Loris, the gay stuff, the over the top gay stuff. I was rewatching an episode of Game of Thrones the other day and I totally missed it. In the episode where Joffrey and Marjorie are getting married, Loris winks over at Oberyn Martell. The Tyrells and the Martells are mortal enemies. They would never do that. That was just something added to the show to make it like Loras is super gay. Like, that's over the top. That's taking away from the story. And that's stupid because they don't like each other. Their families don't like each other. So it was just something clearly added in by HBO to drive the point home. And it was gross. And there was all other scenes like that as well. I think Amelia Clark was smart to sign off on doing any more nude scenes because I think we've seen all we need to see of naked Khaleesi. So they did that back in season 4. So I think Game of Thrones has really toned down on the overt sex scenes. I think, all the faults of the show lie in other regards, not really in too much sex and violence.
Yeah, I definitely understand. And I don't think that, I don't really think it takes away from the storylines. Again, I didn't read the book, so I can't speak too much to it. So
the books are 10 times worse in terms of violence. There's whole sections of books that just detail the disaster that's going on in the Riverlands in terms of rapes and pillaging, just nastiness.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Mildred, we need you on this Game of Thrones topic.
Okay, I couldn't hear you guys for like a few minutes. Just brief me on what you guys just discussed.
We're still talking about rape and violence and sex in Game of Thrones. Is it too much? Does it take away from the story?
I don't think so. I mean, sometimes it could be much in terms of maybe some storylines, but like when it comes to the Khaleesi or Sansa, in the book Sansa doesn't get raped, but I understand why they put it in the show because there was a character that this happens to in the books. Yeah, Jane Poole, and she's not a character in the show though. They because they can only choose a number of characters. Nobody's gonna follow with the
she was in
70 characters in the book. Follow. What?
She was in one.
It's only 1 hour per episode. She was in the first episode, right? Like next to Sansa. So she's not a character. So they're gonna use Sansa because she's the one that's in the Eyrie, and then she's back at Winterfell. So she has to be the one they use and to portray a storyline. Also to show how we know how horrible Ramsay is, but it was like for me it was kind of like he's a filler for Joffrey after Joffrey gets killed. I don't know, but he's like 10 times worse and you hate him. But yeah, I think I don't get offended. I understand why they
for a second?
do some moves within the show.
Go ahead, Ashley.
Sure.
Oh, I wanted to say,
you hear me?
You called Ramsay filler for Joffrey.
Joffrey was killed?
No, I don't think Ramsay was filler. That's why I want to pick you with that because that's one of my biggest complaints about the show is that they didn't properly portray Ramsay. Ramsay was there from the very beginning, and he was like
he was
like the terror who was spoken of, but they didn't really show him. And the show made it seem like Ramsay just came out of nowhere just in time when Joffrey was reigning. But no, Ramsay was there the whole time. He has been a villain this whole time. He was killing people since the first book. We didn't get Ramsay's backstory until Winds of Winter though.
I think it was portrayed the same way in the books because he's not a big character until like the 4th book. They mention him killing a whole bunch of people, but you never really have an interaction with him until the 4th. So I think they did the same thing in the show.
No, in the show they made it seem it was way too random how Ramsay just popped up. So I don't think it's really hard to translate into live media, but I think they should have spent more time building up Ramsay's arrival instead of just having some psycho kicks. Remember, he made Theon guess who he was. So we didn't know until he told him, he made him guess that he's a Bolton. So they really dragged that out, and I didn't like that because I was like, oh, if I would have known who he was sooner, it would have been a lot more scary.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on to our last social trend of the night. So it looks like Miss Columbia, as you guys remember, she was the fake winner for the Miss Universe pageant. She was the winner for about 3 seconds before her title was stolen from her.
That's more than the rest of us.
Well, hey now. So apparently Vivid Entertainment, as some of you may know, is like the porn giant. They offered her $1 million to do a porn. So what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, for Miss Columbia, I don't think she needs to worry about anything. Pageants are huge in South America, so I think she'll rebound and she can find other work as a TV host. Do pretty much milk off whatever she can off this. If Instagram models are making 6 figures, I don't see why Miss Columbia can't start an Instagram and break the internet or whatever she wants to do. She doesn't have to resort to porn. That's the last option for girls in Iowa who want some money. You know, she doesn't need that.
I definitely don't think that she needs to do porn. I just want to know where Vivid is getting all this money from. Clearly. Well, we actually know. The porn industry is huge. A lot of you guys are watching porn out there and paying for it because apparently Pornhub...
Who pays for porn? I had to ask that.
Pornhub must be unavailable in these people's houses, but Vivid somehow makes so much money, and because every single time porn, they want to offer someone porn, it's always at the very minimum that $1 million price tag. So that's...
I think they're bluffing.
I don't know. They gave Mimi from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta $1 million too. So
did she do it?
Yeah, she did it.
You know, I don't stay up with the Love and Hip Hop Arkansas.
You remember the shower rod scene?
Yeah, I've heard about shower rod.
Yeah, that was for Mimi's, and she tried to say it was a leaked tape, but then it came out later.
Oh yeah, that's why. 'Cause I thought she leaked. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So I think Mildred is frozen again. We'll try her again next week. But yeah. But yeah, I definitely don't think she needs to do the porn. I mean, she'll be fine. There are so many other things that she can do. She came in 2nd place, so that's definitely not a bad place to be. I mean, she'll be fine. I'm sure
she's gonna be on Sábado Gigante when that comes back soon enough.
I don't even know. How's that show doing? I don't even know if they're getting the ratings that they think they are getting.
Which one?
Sábado Gigante?
No, that show got it ended because Don Francisco's gone.
Oh.
Yeah, Don Francisco retired. You guys hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you, Don Francisco. We're having a random chat now about Spanish TV.
Oh, great. That's my forte.
Yeah.
Not really.
That's all I used to watch.
We're talking about Miss Columbia, whether or not she should be doing the porn.
Oh my God! Yeah, I saw that. I don't think she needs to do it. I think that was just, you know, people being a little much with her. She was runner-up. I think she'll be fine in terms of.
No. You know, she did if they did do a porn, they would have like a black porn star in the role of Steve Harvey.
That would be hilarious.
Now I can't unsee that.
Oh my God! Thank you, Ashley. You ruined that for me.
Steve Harvey's still the greatest, though. He's the greatest Family Feud host of all time.
Listen, hashtag still a great night. That'll be it for me forever. So, still a great night. And even though Mildred keeps losing connection, it was still a great night. We still had a good chat for the 3 seconds we had Mildred. So, that being said, we're going to close out. Tonight was a pretty short one. Oh, she's back.
Mildred's return.
We're still going to close out, though. So, oh, Mildred, you came just in time.
I'm back, guys. I'm so sorry.
So we're going to close out. Do we have any, like, Christmas recaps, New Year's remarks? What are we doing?
Well, I'm wearing my Christmas pajamas, so I'm super festive, guys.
As you see, my Christmas tree is still up behind me. So my Christmas was cool. You know, it's regular. Nothing.
How was the weather in New York, guys?
It was super warm. I'm nervous. All these people that are excited about this weather, I'm not here for it because when the apocalypse...
Oh my gosh, I'm...
Mildred? All right.
No, I feel the same way. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I feel the same way. It scares me that it's so hot. It was 70 degrees on Christmas Eve.
Yeah,
That was.
it was crazy.
Yeah. It's raining right now, which is probably why my connection's so bad.
For New Year's Eve, what are you ladies doing? I'm going to Curacao tomorrow, so I'll be with my parents, and I'll be there for New Year's Eve. What are you guys doing?
Mildred?
I'm going to the Dominican Republic on Wednesday to spend New Year's Eve with my family. My parents are out there, so.
That's nice.
Yeah, I'm excited. Looking forward to it.
I'm going to Raleigh.
Yeah. Where?
I'm going to, it's the capital, North Carolina's capital.
Oh, nice.
That's like the big city. It's like the Charlotte.
What are you guys going to be doing out there?
What are we doing? We're going shopping. We're having like a shopping day, and then we're going out to eat like some nice restaurant, having some well, I'm gonna have cocktails. You know, I have a teetotaler boyfriend, so that'll be interesting. He'll have apple cider at midnight.
Oh, nice. Well, I'll be in Curacao, hanging out with some friends and family, and Mildred will be in the Dominican Republic. So it looks like it's going to be festive. So, and our girl Erica, I think she's on a cruise, so that's why she's not here tonight. So I think she'll be on a cruise for New Year's Eve. So looks like it'll be a good time for everyone.
So we hope you guys like the Witches Brew. I like our name, guys. I like that's our official name, Witches Brew. You can also watch us on YouTube at Witches Brew Chat. Do you like the new name, Shina? I think it's great. We're spelling all the T's.
So we're going to be making some updates to the YouTube page soon, so it doesn't look like super random. So we'll be adding our logo and some pictures very soon, and then it should be easier to find. We're also going to be replaying this video on Tuesday on geeksandcleats.com. So if you missed it tonight, check us out on geeksandcleats.com. Tuesday night at 9 p.m. We'll post the video then, and you can rewatch this episode. But yeah, follow us all, tweet us, let us know what you think, let us know what you want us to talk about, and you can find me again on Twitter at ShyMW, so that's SHAI, M as in Mary, W. Ashley?
And you can find me at Geeks and Cleats on Twitter. I'm always talking about sports and comic books and ranting.
Yeah, I'm a ranter too, so.
That's what Twitter is for. Mildred.
Yes, I'm here. You can also find me at Mildred Var. That's MILDRED, V like Victor, AR on Twitter.
Yeah, Mildred's always talking about Game of Thrones.
Right, I usually talk about Game of Thrones and Star Wars. Anything geek related, that's my...
Guys, I got a Game of Thrones board game. I can't wait to play it. I forgot to say that for Christmas, but yeah.
By the way, I have the board game too. I played it the other night. It's like a 10-hour game, but it's awesome.
We're gonna
play it with you guys.
If I need help, I'm calling you.
Yeah. I'm still learning, but it was really long, but it's worth it. So if you guys ever want to play it together, we should.
That would be fun.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in again. Catch us on Tuesday nights at 9. That's when we usually tape. Because of the holidays, our schedule's a little bit off. I think we'll be taping again next week, Sunday, at the same time. So Sunday at 8 p.m.
Right.
And then following that, we'll be here at Tuesdays at 9 o'clock. So, all right. Have a good night. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.